Jimmie Johnson with older tires, hoping he'll have enough left to hold off the guys behind him, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, and Mark Martin. Here they come to the line, getting ready for the green flag.
Green goes in the air, and on the break, Bill Elliott jumps out to a quick 2-car length lead. Jimmie Johnson up alongside the lap car of Greg Biffle will try and do away with him before he hits turn 1.
So a Dodge, a Chevy, and a Ford occupy the top 3 spots right now at the California Speedway with Bill Elliott getting a good restart. Jimmie Johnson looking to his outside of the right elbow, and Johnson powerfully moving to the outside. He'll take over the lead headed to turn 3.
Jimmie Johnson, clean air. Bill Elliott running in second, and now Greg Biffle shoves his machine up in between Jimmie Johnson and Bill Elliott. Ricky Rudd moves up into that second place position down on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Kurt Busch battling for third.
Field charges off turn number 4 now with Jimmie Johnson taking the top spot. Bill Elliott continues to fall back in the pack. Johnson with the lead here. It will be 13 laps to go. Ricky Rudd, the second place man, first has to get around the car of Greg Biffle.
Jimmie Johnson will try to scoot away. He had the lap machine of Greg Biffle behind him, and now Biffle is going to the outside of Jimmie Johnson, trying to get another lap back. It'll be Ricky Rudd in second spot. They're side by side for third.
Jimmie Johnson lets Greg Biffle go, and he's got Ricky Rudd right behind him, side by side. Kurt Busch down on the bottom, and Bill Elliott on the outside. Kurt Busch trying to get a little help from his teammate Mark Martin as they run inside of Bill Elliott.
Jimmie Johnson would love to have the luxury of the lap car Greg Biffle between himself and Ricky Rudd, but he's sure not going to race all afternoon to try and keep him there. He comes to the start-finish line, and Ricky Rudd is closing in. Let's go downstairs.
We caught up with Kevin Harvick, who's come out of the infield care center. The good news, Kevin, you're all right. What happened off of turn 4?
We popped the left rear tire going into turn 3, and I was doing everything I could to save it, and about the last save I had to make, I clipped the 8, and we wrecked.
So a tire problem put Kevin Harvick into the wall. Unfortunately, took out Dale Earnhardt Jr. as well.
Jimmie Johnson has the top spot, but maybe not for long. Ricky Rudd is chasing him over to turn number 4. They've got the lap car of Greg Biffle just ahead. Biffle goes up the banking. Inside lane is opened up. Here's Jimmie Johnson leading the charge off turn 4. Rudd follows his tire tracks for now. Coming into the tri-oval, Rudd looks to the inside, now starts the charge to see if he can challenge for the top spot. It won't work here.
Will Ricky Rudd make a move to the inside? No. For right now, he follows in the tire tracks of the leader, Jimmie Johnson. Look who's in third. Kurt Busch, reeling him in a car length at a time. He comes off the corner strong in that third position. Bill Elliott still rides in the 4th spot.
Jimmie Johnson still by 1 car length. He's blocking Ricky Rudd down the back straightaway just a little bit as he darts to the inside, then back out to the outside, now back down onto the bottom of the racetrack. That's where Rudd likes to run. Jimmie Johnson by 3 car lengths.
Kurt Busch running in third, lights the fuse on the Sharpie Rubbermaid Ford. He powers around the lap car of Greg Biffle and begins to close in on the lead pair. It will be 10 laps to go this time. Jimmie Johnson, Ricky Rudd, and here comes Kurt Busch trying to get in the hunt come stretch time.
Ricky Rudd tried to make a run on Jimmie Johnson to the entrance of turn 1. Johnson shut it down. So Jimmie Johnson is still your leader. Ricky Rudd on the high side is second. Kurt Busch a very close third. They're single file down the back straightaway.
Those front 3 cars break away from the rest of the field. Jimmie Johnson doesn't waste any time trying to break the draft down the back straightaway as he darts to the inside once again and then back to the outside. He's increased his lead to about 7 car lengths. Kurt Busch now challenges for second.
Jimmie Johnson trying to give Chevrolet 2 wins in a row after they picked up the victory last week at the Talladega Superspeedway. But a couple of Fords breathing down his neck here in the closing laps. 9 laps to go. Johnson by 3 car lengths over Ricky Rudd and Kurt Busch.
Speeds approaching 200 miles an hour as they enter into turn 1. It's still Jimmie Johnson opening up a little bit of a lead over the second spot of Ricky Rudd, who's soon going to have his hands full with Kurt Busch. It is still a 3-car breakaway. Bill Elliott rides by himself in 4.
Jimmie Johnson once again snaking his way down the back straightaway. Outside, inside, outside, keeping Ricky Rudd at bay. Rudd now has disposed a little bit of Kurt Busch as he pulled after about a 5-car length lead in that second place battle.
Kurt Busch came up on the back bumper of Ricky Rudd like he was going to blow both him and Jimmie Johnson away, but catching them is one thing, passing them is another. Busch on the back bumper of the Haviland Ford, but has not been able to do anything with him. Jimmie Johnson goes very low through the tri-oval area, trying to break the draft on the 2 that follow him.
And that appears to work for Jimmie Johnson. He does get to turn 1 a lot earlier than Ricky Rudd or Kurt Busch. Busch gets a nice run off of turn 2. He may try to pass Ricky Rudd into turn 3.
Everybody dives down to the inside of the the racetrack this time down the back straightaway. Now back to the outside to set up the car into turn number 3. Still single file. Your first 5, top 6 make that run in order. Dale Jarrett trying to get on Mark Martin for 5th.
Better believe Ricky Rudd is studying that rearview mirror, waiting to see what Kurt Busch is going to try to pull. He goes one way, Rudd goes that way. Busch tries the other. Rudd is defensive and moves up there as well. Here they come back through the trioval. It will be 7 to go.
It looks like Ricky Rudd went into defensive mode. It doesn't appear that he has enough for the leader, Jimmie Johnson. So Kurt Busch in that 3rd spot will try to get around Rudd. Rudd keeps an eye in that mirror. They're still single file, racing back to turn 3, weaving all the way down the back straightaway.
Ricky Rudd will dive down to the bottom. He follows the tire tracks of Jimmie Johnson. Kurt Busch still 5 car lengths back. Bill Elliott back another 8 car lengths. Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett nearly side by side.
For the moment, everybody holding position, counting down the laps. It'll be 6 to go this time as they come to the start-finish line. Jimmie Johnson with the lead. Ricky Rudd back there in the 2nd spot, just 0.4 of a second behind. Another 4 back to Kurt Busch in 3rd.
Here they come into turn 1. It's still Jimmie Johnson in the lead. Ricky Rudd trying to figure out the puzzle. Kurt Busch riding by himself in 3rd. Bill Elliott in 4th. Good fight for the 5th spot. Mark Martin up high. Dale Jarrett down low. Couple of Fords wheel to wheel off the corner.
Dale Jarrett's tried the last 3 times around to get by Mark Martin. He's right up on the rear deck lid of Mark Martin's Ford. Into turn number 3, they'll run identical lines down on the bottom of the racetrack, and now Jarrett slides up high looking for position.
It has settled down among the front 4 cars. The race is for the 5th position as they come to the line and see the signal of 5 laps to go. Let's follow that 5th place battle. Mark Martin trying to hold off Dale Jarrett. GJ looking to the inside as they charge into turn 1.
Here they come into turn 1, and DJ does get a fender underneath Mark Martin, but so far has not pulled off the pass. Martin working that middle groove, now washes up a little bit high in the Viagra Ford. Jarrett gets a good look down to the inside, still not close enough to pull off the pass.
Dale Jarrett nearly was close enough to stay to the inside of Mark Martin that time, but will have to fall back in line as they race down into turn number 3. Once again, Mark Martin down on the bottom and Dale Jarrett up one groove. Dale Jarrett trying to pull up alongside Mark Martin.
DJ looking to make the run on the outside lane, but Martin will drift high at the exit of 4, hold him off for the moment. At the front of the pack, it continues to be Jimmie Johnson. 4 laps to go now for the Winston Cup Series rookie. Jimmie Johnson on the point, leads the field into 1.
The distance remains static between the 1st and 2nd place machine, put it at about 4 car lengths, but now Kurt Busch is getting serious about taking that 2nd spot away from Ricky Rudd.
Nearly had a caution last time by as Steve Grissom's machine. It clips the outside wall and he pancakes the right side of that machine. Will stay green as he makes it back to pit lane. Jimmie Johnson by 8 car lengths over Ricky Rudd and Kurt Busch.
Now Kurt Busch again is tightening up in that 2nd place battle. He's going after Ricky Rudd as Jimmie Johnson drives off. They come to the line and it will be 3 laps to go. Side by side for 2nd. Kurt Busch gets the run off turn 4, pulls even with Ricky Rudd into turn 1.
Can Kurt Busch clear Ricky Rudd, and is there enough time for him to catch Jimmie Johnson? They go into turn 1, still side by side, door to door. Rudd up high, Busch down low. He'll shut the door on Ricky Rudd. Kurt Busch is on 2nd and now chases down the leader, Jimmie Johnson.
Jimmie Johnson not trying to break the draft this time by, and now about halfway down the back straightaway. He does duck in about 1 car length or 1 groove in to the inside. Down on the bottom into turn number 3. 8 car lengths the distance. Kurt Busch closing in.
The 2 most dominant cars all afternoon, this afternoon at California, are ready to face off for the final 2 laps in a battle for the checkered flag. 2 to go for Jimmie Johnson as he hits the line. 0.5 of a second, the lead over Kurt Busch.
2 young guns have got to keep their cool heads now in the final stages of this race at the California Speedway. Jimmie Johnson working the middle groove, doing nothing dramatic here. Kurt Busch sliding it just ever so slightly off the corner, still chasing Jimmie into turn 3.
Johnson back down on the bottom of the racetrack and then back to the outside just before he gets to turn number 3. Equal distance between your top 4 competitors. It's still 8 car lengths for Jimmie Johnson.
Coming down to turn number 4 now, exiting the corner, back to the start-finish line, looking for the white flag. Here it is. Will Jimmie Johnson score his first career Winston Cup win? The California native is looking good now with a 5 car length lead over Kurt Busch.
Final time into turn 1. Jimmie Johnson out of El Cajon, California, has a lead of about 6 car lengths, making 6.5 over Kurt Busch. Busch doing everything he can, tightens it up to about 5 car lengths, but it's still Jimmie Johnson leading the field off of turn 2.
Are you ready, Jimmy? Are you sure you're ready? He's got 1 more trip down the back straightaway. 8 car lengths still the lead, the same as the last 3 laps. Jimmie Johnson into turn number 3. 2 tires down on the white line, looking good through turn number 4.
Right on the bottom of the racetrack, off corner number 4. Here they come to the line, and in only the 13th start of his NASCAR Winston Cup Series career, Jimmie Johnson is going to victory lane at California. He wins the Napa Auto Parts 500. Kurt Busch comes home in second. Ricky Rudd will be third. Bill Elliott and Mark Martin.
Let's go to pit road.
Well, let's get a word from Rick Hendrick right here. Well, Rick, you and Jeff Gordon picked another winner for your stable.
I tell you what, he's an awesome guy. He's an awesome driver. Couldn't be happier for Lowe's. And Bob Tillman, I hope you're listening. You guys had faith in him, and he did it. Great job.
He sure did, and he's headed to victory lane.
The rookie goes to victory lane. Jimmie Johnson scores the win, holding off some pretty heavy competition here today. And as Dave Moody said, it was his 13th career NASCAR Winston Cup start.
NASCAR Today continues on MRN Radio, sponsored by Ford. The official truck of NASCAR is built Ford tough.
Back at the California Speedway, where Jimmie Johnson has scored the win of the Napa Auto Parts 500, beating Kurt Busch, Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, and Mark Martin. We'll do the full field rundown in a few moments. Rest of the top 10 for now. Dale Jarrett finishes in 6th, Sterling Marlin in 7th, Rusty Wallace 8th, 9th Dave Blaney, and finishing 10th was Michael Waltrip. It was the 8th different winner so far in this 2002 season. And Dave Moody, the first win for Lowe's as sponsor of a Winston Cup car since they've been involved in the sport. That goes back a number of years.
Could not have come at a better time or a better place for that team. Jimmie Johnson winning in his home state. The California dream comes true for Jimmie Johnson here in front of his home state crowd.
We'll go to victory lane and hear from Jimmie Johnson in a few moments. I'm sure that will be a big party. First, let's hear from some of the drivers who finished in the top 5. Winston Kelly?
Kurt Busch donning a straw hat a la Jack Roush. And I tell you what, it's got to be bittersweet to be disappointed with a second-place run. You had an awesome car. Tell us about it.
We had an awesome piece. It was just unbelievable. The amount of people that it goes in to building the race car and to building the race team, to go out there and to compete. There's so many individuals I need to mention, but there's only one that counts. That's Jack Roush. It's unbelievable what he's given me, on what he's done for this company. We all know what our job is and what our place is here, and we can do it without him, but it's so nice to have him here. It really just, this is for Jack. I wish we could have won this thing. We're a little short on top end. We had him off the corner. We had a lot of torque in the motor. We had a lot of aerodynamics in this Ford Taurus. And this Rubbermaid team, we're awesome. I mean, we had a lead by 15 seconds. This is what it's all about. We're running for the championship.
Tell us about that last pit stop, 2 tires or no tires, who made the call, and how your car was behind cars versus in front.
I made the call for 2. Jimmy wanted to do 4. We got beat by guys that just took gas. It's sad on how these tires last forever, and you can't get any grip with new tires, old tires. It's tough. We lost it by pit strategy because we had the best car, but that's the way it is. We finished 3rd last week, 2nd this week. We're going for the win next week.
Hey, it's a good smile on his face. He finishes 2nd. That's Kurt Busch.
Well, Ricky Rudd equals his best finish of the 2002 season. A very solid 3rd-place run this afternoon at California. He's with Tony Rizzuti.
And a remarkable run for Ricky Rudd, considering he started 37th. They started grinding up through the field all day long. And considering where you started, this has to be a great finish.
Well, anytime you finish in the top 5 nowadays, it's good. We could actually see the victory slip away from us a little bit. Our guys did a great job in the pits, everybody on this Haviland Taurus team. They got us in a position to win 2 tires, which was his right thing to do, but we came out on the racetrack and the car just wouldn't turn on those 2 tires. The car was too tight. So wish we had a chance to come back and redo a little of that, but, just happy with the finish considering we started so far back.
With about 40 to go, that was some of the best racing we've seen all year. 2 wide, 3 wide action. Was that fun?
Yeah, that was a blast. I tell you that. I usually call in on the radio when I'm having a day like that and tell Robert, hey, I'll drop a nothing when we have a car that runs like this. And, anytime you get up there and can mix it up like that and have a car that's that good, it's a blast.
Ricky Rudd, a great finish. He started 37th. He'll finish 3rd here in the Napa Auto Parts 500.
Oh, in a field of gamblers today, one of the biggest was Bill Elliott. Passed up the final pit stop. It got him 4th at the end of the day, Winston Kelly.
Well, like Ricky Rudd, he started at the back from 39th to 4th. Man, you earned your nickel today. Tell us about it, Bill.
Well, I earned it several times. I mean, I started off, we kept plugging along and kept chipping our way toward the top, top 20, top 15, top 10. And then right there, we finally got a decent deal where we were 10 seconds within being lapped. Caution came out. Well, I started off, and I thought I had a flat tire, drove off down in turn 1. We came right in, and then we had to play catch-up from then on. But, we just elected not to come in our end because we needed track position.
How about that strategy there at the end? A lot of guys, when they didn't take on tires, they had problems. You and Jimmie Johnson didn't seem to.
Well, the thing that I saw was that's the only gamble we had. We were either going to finish up 6th or 7th. We came in and put on tires, and we got an opportunity to do better. So, we were able to hold them off and finish 4th. And, I mean, that's the things that, Mike and I talk about on the radio and try to figure out, what's the best thing to do. The car was the Dodge car was pretty good today, but still, it's the guy that can get it all put together, and, Jimmie Johnson them did it.
From 39th to 4th, Bill Elliott, a good run today.
As we speculated, quite a party going on in victory lane. Jim Phillips is there with winner Jimmie Johnson.
Well, you talk about some smiles. How does it feel to win a Winston Cup race in your home state of California?
This is unbelievable. To be able to do this and be this competitive in Winston Cup racing is a dream of mine, and I just can't believe it came true. And it's just so special to win here in front of the home state, win in front of all my friends and family that are out in the grandstands. This is incredible. Thank you, California. I'm glad I could do it.
The decision to take no tires, did that concern you when you came in for that splash of gas?
We were really loose on the starter runs, and as the tires got older, the car got better and better, and we were going to go for 2, but we saw some guys earlier just do gas only and beat us out of the pits. Chad made the call on gas only, and I was able to hold those guys off. Track position was the key. I just tried not letting them line up behind me and draft down the straightaways and take their line in the corner, and we were in good shape.
Okay, but first you had Kurt Busch behind you, but then you had a veteran like Ricky Rudd that has a whole lot more experience than you. Did you think you had enough experience to hold him off?
Ricky, I knew it was going to be tough, but Kurt, I'd been racing with him all day long, and I thought he might be able to march up through the turbulent air and get to us. But he got held up with Ricky Rudd a little bit, and we were able to let the laps click down and bring this Lowe's Monte Carlo to victory lane.
Well, I know you and Jeff Gordon did a commercial, Can You Win? Are you surprised you won this early in your career?
Heck yeah, I am. This is unbelievable. You always hope and wish that, think that you have the ability to come out here and be competitive, but you just don't know until the right situation presents itself and everybody can showcase their talents. My hat's off to Chad Knaus. I feel we're both in a similar situation trying to prove ourselves, and he's doing an awesome job, and same with all these guys standing here in the Lowe's uniforms.
That's exactly right. He's the winner right now. Let's see if we can find Chad. Now we can't find him, so Jimmie Johnson is a winner here in California.
And a big party going on down there in victory lane.